I'm constantly obsessed how to make things faster, easier, more automated. Actually, automation makes everything easier, but not everything is automated. Not everything should be automated yet. That does not mean that we cannot do things that are not automated, manual operations, better, easier, faster. And the most effective way to make things faster is to execute commands from a terminal instead of going through UIs, clicking some buttons, and so on and so forth. UIs are slow. They have their purpose, they have their use cases, but it shouldn't be always UI. As a matter of fact, most of the time it shouldn't be UI. And that is especially true when we do things very frequently, right? If I'm going to create a cluster once in a year, then yes, I might just as well go to AWS, GCP, Azure UI, click some buttons, I'm done. It doesn't really matter whether I spend a minute or an hour on a task that I do once or once a year or very infrequently. Git, however, is something that we do all the time. Git is a perfect candidate to do things from a terminal. Hey, git add, git commit, git push. Nobody does that through UIs anymore. But there are Git operations outside of pushing code to a Git repository that traditionally we tend to do through UIs. Specifically, I'm talking about GitHub today. Can we streamline and improve our experience using GitHub? And can we do that through a terminal? Can we have a CLI? And we do. There is GitHub CLI, and that's the one we are going to explore today in 20 minutes or less. Actually, I think it will be like 5 minutes because this is going to be really, really fast. I already installed GH CLI or GitHub CLI and I logged in. The instructions how to do that are in a gist, and the gist is in the description, or to be more precise, the URL, the link to the gist is in the description. And it contains everything you need, including the setup and what I'm about to do now. Let's say that we want to work on a Git repository. The first thing we should do is most likely fork that repo. As a sample repository, we are going to use Catch. It's an open source project. If you're not familiar with it, you should. And if you're not, then follow the link above and also in the description to the video that explains Catch. So I will not explain what Catch is, I will just use it as a sample repository to practice how to do common operations with GitHub without going to the UI. So this is the repo we are going to use, and normally, typically, if you would like to fork a repo, you would click this button, you would select the organization where you want to fork it, and when that is finished, you would normally go to your terminal and then clone the code. That's like 3, 4, 5 steps, most of them involving UI and the mouse. It's not a big deal, you can do that in a minute, but how about doing that in a second? So I'm back in my terminal, and what I would normally do to accomplish the same is GH repo. I want to fork. What do I want to fork? Ship corp. I don't need to type the whole address because it's all GitHub, right? And Catch. That's the repo I want to fork. And apart from forking, I want to clone it as well. So I'm going to say clone. And now it is doing all the things that I would normally do through the UI. It forked the repo and it cloned it. And I can go there and say, hey, cd catch, and this is my repository. Now, GitHub CLI is not trying to replace Git. So all the things you commonly do in Git, you should continue doing them in Git. And we are adding GitHub CLI on top of it to do the things that you cannot do with Git because they are GitHub specific. So for example, let's double check whether it really cloned it well. So we can do that with git remote-v. And we can see that the origin is the forked repo. That's my user vfarsig. And the upstream is shipacorp. So we can work both with origin and the upstream depending on what we want to do at any given moment. Now let's say that we want to work on it. We want to create a new fancy feature for the project. And normally what we would do is git checkout -b, let's say my feature, right? This is typical Git. We're not doing anything GitHub specific. And I'm going to open something.txt and just put some random stuff there. This is random stuff, right? I'm just trying to make some changes to the repo so that I can demonstrate how pull requests work. I'm saving it, and now I need to add that. This is still git, right? Git commit, git add, git commit, and no, this is git commit. -m will be I am too lazy to think of a silly message, and push, right? So I pushed my changes. Actually, I need to set upstream to origin my feature, right? Now I push things to my own fork of this repository. The last couple of commands were not GitHub specific, but what comes now is GitHub specific. Now let's say that I want to run some CI/CD pipelines, let's say GitHub Actions. Now when I think about it, I never did a video about GitHub Actions. I should probably do that. Please let me know in the comments if you would be interested in GitHub Actions. So, for the sake of the argument, and you will see soon why, let's say that I want to work with GitHub Actions, and for that I need to create some GitHub secrets. And typically I would go to GitHub repo, to the UI, I would navigate, reach to the secrets, click the button, create new secret, fill in some fields and all that stuff. But I can do better because I can do everything related with GitHub through the CLI. What can I do as an example? Let's say that I want to add credentials and token to the Docker Hub repository. How would I do that? I can do something like GH. I want to do something with the secret and I want to set it, and the name of the secret can be Docker Hub token and -b. There are different ways to create secrets. I will use this one that allows me to just specify any literal value. So it could be, let's say, something, right? Now, what is this token? I will never show you my token. Doesn't have to be the real one for the exercises. And what else should I do? Yes, I should define that the repositories for which this secret should be created should be, in my case, be parsec. In your case, you know what's your user in GitHub. And the repository should be catched as the one I just forked, right? And now I have a secret over there, right? So I can manage secrets completely from here. I can create another one with a different, let's say, text. This is something different. And let's say that I want to create Docker Hub user, right? Doesn't matter for this exercise what it really is. I'm just showing you that we can do many different things that we normally do through the UI, through the CLI. But now let's go back to the real deal. Let's see how we can create a pull request with the changes we just pushed to our forked repository and propose them to be merged to the master branch. And that would be GH. We want to do something with the PR. We want to create it. And we should put some title. What should be the title? My feature. Oh, feature, no. Feature. And we should put some body, some description, which is, let's say, read the title. And this allows us to create a pull request. And the guy is intelligent enough to know that, hey, this is a forked repository, so do you want to create a pull request against the origin, which is our forked, or the upstream? And in this case, let's not create unnecessary work for the community behind Shipa, so let's choose our own forked repository, right? Normally you would create a pull request to the upstream, but we're not going to. Please don't do that. Please don't do that because that would create additional work to the community. So I'm selecting my forked repository and there we go. It created a pull request, right? The point is that it's so much easier and faster to do it through commands as long as you remember the commands. And now I can confirm that this pull request was created by opening it in browser. So here it is, here's the pull request file changes, but I do not need to go to browser, I do not need to go to the UI. I'm just showing you to confirm that, yeah, there is really a pull request, it was really created. What else? I mean, there are many things we can do, but let's do one more, maybe two more. Let's say GHPR status. I can see the status of my pull request. It figured out that, hey, this is the branch, this is created by me, that's the pull request. It gives you all the interesting information. I'm not doing much with this pull request, so there is not much to see here. But if creation of pull request executed some pipelines, we would see the results. We would see all the information that we normally see from the UI. Actually, we see even additional information that we wouldn't see from there. Finally, to keep it short, we can also merge the pull request. Merge. There we are. Pull request is merged. I'm going to rebase and merge, right? It asks us quite a couple of questions. And yes, I will want to delete the local branch and the remote branch. Why not? And do I want to submit? Yes, I do, right? So I did a couple of steps. I did probably now 3 or 4 steps that would need to be done manually from the UI by executing a single command. This is absolutely awesome. I will leave you to figure out the rest of the commands. What I'm really trying to say is that if you are working with GitHub, and you probably are, otherwise you probably wouldn't be watching this video. Anyways, if you are using GitHub, GitHub CLI is one of the 5 or 10 most important CLIs you should have in your tool belt. You should be using it.